Hello and welcome to the video. This is an overview and review of this thing here. This is the Hobbymodel Larva-X. It's a 100mm Crazy Bee F4 Pro based little FPV racing quad in the toothpick style. Now I've had a couple of toothpicks in here, and the short version of this review is this is probably the best flying one that I have had in. Now, as you can see here, while I just kind of go through the unboxing, let me run through some of the specs. So this has a Hobbymodel EX1103 7000 kV motors on here, Crazy Bee F4 Pro V3 flight controller. It has an onboard 10 amp 4-in-1 ESC at the bottom. There are lots of versions of the receiver available, so you can get the one that you want. Be careful when you're ordering the FrSky or XSR like I did. It came with the international version of the firmware. The VTX is a Hobbymodel Diamond VTX, which will run up to 200 milliwatts, 25 to 200 milliwatts switchable. It has full 40 channels, NTSC output. On the front is a little Runcam Nano 2 FPV camera that performs really nicely. Field of view on that is 155 degrees with a 2.1mm lens. Now, if we connect it using the USB port at the bottom, we can go through the settings. If you have never set up a model like this, check out my Betaflight Bind and Fly guide that takes you through all the steps of setting up a little model like this. So we can see here that it's Betaflight 4.04, target is Crazy Bee 4DX. We can see it's smart audio to control the video transmitter. And going into the settings, we have motor stop turned on, so the motors won't start spinning as soon as it's armed. D-Shot 600, 8K gyro and PID loop frequencies. Make note of the board and sensor alignment as well, so if you ever flashing it, you're going to have to change that back. Air mode isn't turned on all the time. OSD is, dynamic filter and anti-gravity. All of the power system looks like that. This is the PID tuning, which might not be to everybody's taste, but actually is pretty good out the box. And then you'll probably have to do your receiver setup to make sure it's all okay. Now, the nice thing about this is it does power the receiver when you plug in the USB, so that makes binding the receiver pretty straightforward. You don't have to install the battery for that piece. By default, the modes are very basic, so I'd recommend coming in here and changing it around for how you like to have your radio set. The arming and horizon is turned on, but there's no angle setting, so I would pop one of those on. And also potentially add a link for the beeper as well, because there doesn't appear to be a piezoelectric buzzer on here to help you find it if it comes down in the long grass, and it will disappear if the grass hasn't been freshly cut, particularly as it's all black. So turn the beeper on, make sure that air mode is enabled for things like horizon and rate mode flying. Move the stuff around in the on-screen display to suit how you like it laid out. Just to prove the version, you can see it in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, but there we are, we're running version 4.04 and it's behaving beautifully on this smaller quad. Earlier versions of 4 weren't particularly happy, but there are all of the settings for the diff. And then the last thing I do is go back into configuration and turn on the beacon tone from the motor. So as we're using D-Shot, we can do this. And in the absence of a piezoelectric buzzer, that should give us a chance to actually arm this thing. In terms of flying, this is an absolute joy. The performance on 3S is very good. It's hovering just over about 40% throttle, so there is absolutely bags of power here on 3S to get in and out of trouble quite quickly. That little Runcam camera is behaving very nicely and giving a really clear image. This flying day in particular is quite overcast, so the sky is relatively bright, but there's not a lot of direct light coming onto the grass and everything is being exposed. As usual, Runcams in a situation like this, it's a little bit oversaturated, but I can easily see the goalposts and that's allowing me to fly through them without any problem at all. Now, this has a linear antenna, so don't forget that on your goggles you're going to need a linear antenna and something like a linear patch for your best reception. So while I let this video play out, let me talk about the things that I really like about this. It's a good spec and it is very lightweight. With the battery I'm using here, which is a little 550 milliamp hour eSheen 3S pack, it's 96.7 grams, well under the 250 gram limit if that's something you care about. Flies great out of the box with not a lot messing about. Betaflight setup is very basic. Again, I'll put a link in the description if you want to see my Betaflight Bind and Fly setup video. Camera and video transmitter performance for the size are very good. The camera rake is also adjustable too, so if you want to learn to fly with something like this, you can put the camera straight out or have it on maximum tilt. It's not a huge up tilt for this model, but it's enough for the power that you get with a 3S pack. 2S battery is going to be great for indoors. I would fly this in a larger area just because these props are not protected and they will make a mess of your big flat screen TV in the lounge if you hit it. 3S that I've been flying it on is excellent for outdoors. I do think the tuning that is on here works nicer on a 3S pack as well. I'm getting about 6.5 minutes from that 550 milliamp hour pack, which is very respectable. And I like the fact that there's lots of receiver options too. Just be careful of that issue with it being supplied with non-EU. So if you get one and you're in the EU, you might end up having to flash the receiver. Couple of things to be aware of. There isn't a lot at all with this. This is a really nice model. The USB port is on the bottom. That makes leveling tricky, so you can't put it onto a flat surface while you calibrate the accelerometer in beta flight. You have to kind of work around that. There is no battery supplied, so you are going to have to order a couple. My recommendation would get something similar to these little eSheen batteries. They're really lightweight, and at the end of flying, both the battery, the motors and everything is coming down nice and cool. The receiver antennas for the XSR do need protecting. They are cable tied to the arms, but I would maybe add a couple of tubes or a bit of heat shrink around them just to stop them getting caught in a prop in a crash. Be aware that if you use more than 25 milliwatts on the video transmitter, it does get quite warm, so I expect that, but it doesn't seem to cause any problems. And brighter colours on this model, so maybe orange props or something, would be a nice change. Having it all black makes it look very stealthy and mean, but when it comes down in the grass, having bright orange stuff on there or bright yellow stuff on it really helps you find it. A LED or a loud buzzer on here would have helped, because the buzzer feature of the motors that we set up in beta flight is useful, but you have to be pretty close in order to hear them. Last couple of comments. It does seem to take crashes very well. I've bounced it around the field. It is a toothpick style model. The frame is carbon fiber, and if you do have a really bad crash, then there is a potential that you're going to snap something. And if you did snap something, because it's a one-piece frame, then you're going to have to kind of undo everything and swap it over onto a brand new piece. So in summary, if you're looking for a little toothpick to fly, this is my favourite by a country mile. I have another model that's in here that I'm going to be reviewing in a week or so, so hang on until I've done that one. That has slightly larger props that are only twin blades rather than tri-blades, and I'm fascinated to see how that one performs. It is starting to feel like this whole toothpick class of quadcopter is really starting to find its feet. Thanks for watching the video and watching right to the very end. You can find me in all the usual places on social media, and if you like the video and like what I'm doing here, then hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon too. If you really like what I'm doing, you can go the extra mile and become one of my Patreons for access to me directly for support, and also giveaways and regular updates too. If you're looking for particular content, then check out the playlist. I organise all of my videos into playlists, so if you're looking for a particular topic, you can find everything here. If it's called Introduction To, it's designed to start very simply and build on that simple introduction to teach you all about it. If it's called For Beginners, then that is really aimed at people who are brand new to that part of the hobby. You can also search on YouTube for anything that you're interested in using the search function at the top. So iNav Painless 360 will find all of my videos and even the playlist around iNav. So thanks again for watching, and happy flying.